A group of friends has rented a cabin for a weekend getaway in the middle of a dense forest. They arrive at the cabin on a sunny day and are excited to start their vacation. The cabin is cozy, with wooden walls, comfortable furniture, and a warm fireplace. As night falls, they sit around the fire, roasting marshmallows and telling stories. But as the night wears on, strange things start to happen. They hear creaking sounds, footsteps outside the cabin, and strange whispers in the woods. They dismiss it as their imagination, but they can't shake the feeling that they are not alone. The next day, they decide to go for a hike in the woods. As they walk deeper into the forest, they come across an old abandoned house. The house is dilapidated, with broken windows, overgrown weeds, and a general feeling of decay. Despite the creepy atmosphere, they decide to explore the house. As they enter the house, they feel a chill run down their spine. As they walk through the house, they hear strange noises. Footsteps upstairs, doors creaking open and shut, and the sound of something moving in the shadows. Suddenly, they hear a loud scream coming from upstairs. They rush upstairs to investigate, but they find nothing. The room is empty, and there's no sign of anyone or anything. As they make their way back to the cabin, they realize that they are lost. They've been walking for hours, and they can't seem to find their way back. The forest looks different, and the trees seem to be closing in on them. Just as they start to panic, they come across a clearing. In the middle of the clearing, they see an old cabin. It looks just like their cabin, but it's run down and abandoned. As they approach the cabin, they see that the door is slightly ajar. They push the door open, and the cabin is pitch black. Suddenly, they hear footsteps coming towards them. They run out of the cabin and into the woods. They run for what seems like hours until they finally stumble upon their cabin. They barricade the doors and windows, but they know that they're not safe. As they huddle around the fireplace, they hear a knock on the door. They freeze, unsure of what to do. The knocking continues, getting louder and more insistent. Finally, they muster the courage to open the door. But as they do, they realize that there's no one there. The woods are silent, and there's no sign of anyone or anything. They realize that they are trapped in the cabin, with no way out. They can hear strange whispers outside the cabin, and they know that they are not alone in the woods. The Haunted Doll. Samantha has always been fascinated by dolls. She collects them from antique shops, garage sales, and flea markets. She loves the way they look, with their porcelain faces and elegant dresses. But one day, Samantha finds a doll that she can't resist. It's a beautiful doll, with blonde hair and blue eyes. The doll is dressed in an old-fashioned white dress, with lace trim and a matching hat. Samantha buys the doll and takes it home. She places it on a shelf in her bedroom, where it watches over her as she sleeps. But as the days go by, strange things start to happen. Samantha hears footsteps in her room at night, and she can feel someone watching her. She wakes up to find that the doll has moved from its spot on the shelf, and is now sitting on her bed. Samantha dismisses it as her imagination, but the strange occurrences continue. One day, she comes home to find the doll sitting in her favorite chair. Another day, she finds the doll in her closet, dressed in one of her own dresses. Samantha starts to feel uneasy around the doll. She feels like it's watching her every move, and she can't shake the feeling that something is wrong. One night, Samantha wakes up to find the doll sitting on her chest. She tries to move, but she can't. She feels like something is holding her down, and she can't breathe. She finally manages to push the doll off her chest, and she sits up gasping for air. She looks at the doll, and she can see that its porcelain face is twisted into an evil grin. Samantha decides that she's had enough. She takes the doll to a psychic, who tells her that the doll is possessed by the spirit of a young girl who died tragically. The psychic tells Samantha that she needs to destroy the doll, or the spirit will never be at peace. Samantha is hesitant, but she knows that she can't live with the doll any longer. She takes the doll to a remote field, where she plans to burn it. But as she's about to light the match, she hears a voice calling out to her. She turns around, and she sees the spirit of the young girl standing behind her. The girl tells Samantha that she's sorry, and that she just wanted to be loved. Samantha is filled with compassion for the girl, and she realizes that destroying the doll won't bring her peace. She decides to keep the doll, and to give it the love and attention that it deserves. As Samantha takes the doll back home, she can feel the spirit of the young girl with her. She knows that the doll will never harm her again, and that she's made the right decision. The Cursed Painting. Emma is an art collector and she loves to search for unique paintings. One day, she comes across a beautiful painting in an antique shop. The painting is of a woman with long black hair and piercing green eyes. Emma is immediately drawn to it and buys it. When Emma hangs the painting in her bedroom, strange things start to happen. She hears footsteps in her room at night and sees shadows moving across the walls. She tries to ignore it, but the feeling of being watched becomes too much to bear. One night, Emma wakes up to find the woman in the painting standing at the foot of her bed. The woman steps out of the painting and onto the floor. She starts to walk towards Emma, and Emma tries to scream, but no sound comes out. The woman stops in front of Emma and whispers in her ear, "I have been waiting for you." Emma is terrified, and she tries to get out of bed, but the woman holds her down. The woman tells Emma that she's been cursed, and that the only way to break the curse is to find the person who cursed her and kill them. Emma doesn't know what to do, but she knows she has to find a way to break the curse. Emma does some research and finds out that the painting was created by a painter who was accused of witchcraft. The painter was sentenced to death, and before she died, she cursed the painting so that whoever owned it would be cursed as well. Emma tracks down the descendants of the painter and discovers that one of them is still alive. She goes to the old woman's house, and the woman admits that her ancestor did curse the painting, but she doesn't know how to break the curse. Emma is desperate to break the curse, so she decides to take matters into her own hands. She destroys the painting, hoping that it will break the curse. But the woman from the painting continues to haunt her, and Emma realizes that she has made a grave mistake. Emma goes back to the old woman's house, and the old woman tells her that there is only one way to break the curse. Emma has to find a way to forgive the painter for what she did, and only then will the curse be broken. Emma goes back to the antique shop where she bought the painting, and she finds an old book that tells the story of the painter's life. She reads it and realizes that the painter was unfairly accused and sentenced to death. Emma forgives the painter and apologizes for destroying the painting. The woman from the painting disappears, and Emma knows that the curse has been broken. From that day on, Emma is more careful about the paintings she buys. She learns that some things are better left alone, and that there are some curses that can never be broken. The mirror. Lena was excited when she found an antique mirror at a yard sale. It was ornate and beautiful, and she thought it would look perfect in her bedroom. But after hanging it up, strange things started to happen. Every night, Lena would see a figure in the mirror that wasn't there when she turned around. At first, she thought it was just her imagination, but as the days passed, the figure became more and more real. One night, Lena saw the figure move. It beckoned to her, and Lena couldn't resist. She stepped closer to the mirror, and suddenly she was pulled in. Lena found herself in a dark room with no windows or doors. The figure from the mirror stood in front of her, and Lena realized that it wasn't a reflection at all. It was something else entirely. The figure spoke to her, telling her that she was trapped in the mirror, and that Lena was its new vessel. Lena tried to escape, but she was stuck. Days passed, and Lena's friends and family grew worried when she didn't answer their calls or texts. They went to her apartment and found the mirror hanging in her room. As they approached, they saw Lena's face staring back at them, trapped in the glass. They tried to break the mirror, but it wouldn't shatter. It was like it was made of something stronger than glass. They searched for a way to free Lena, but nothing worked. In the end, Lena was trapped in the mirror forever. Her friends and family could see her, but they could never reach her. And every now and then, Lena would see someone new looking into the mirror. She would try to warn them, but it was too late. The mirror had claimed another victim. If you enjoyed this story, please consider subscribing to our channel for more spine-chilling tales like this one. Don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment below letting us know what you thought.